Hello, I hope everybody's doing well, that you're all safe, doing art, painting here and there, have your materials close to you, um, at home. You have your paints, like even if they're close by, your brush, your pencil. So today we're going to do um, a face, okay? And this is a long video, okay? And my goal is to do a face um, and build on it as time allows us. So it's going to be a very detailed phase because, like I said, it's going to be a long video. But even with that, if you want to go beyond that, you could even go more into detail. So um, a lot of factors go involving on work when you do art. Obviously the space you use, the surface, if it's small, if it's big, but also time, how much time you put on it, even counting the planning. Okay, your idea, how you see it, sketches, things like that. So I know I've done videos in the past where we talk about the face and the proportions. So we're gonna go straight into it just with the basics. If you remember, if you could pull up the drawings you had to refer to it, great. If not, that's fine too. We're just gonna work from simple and build upon it, okay? And then we're gonna paint it in watercolor. We're gonna need a pencil, okay? We're gonna need our brush. We're gonna need our paints, watercolors, and we're gonna need our waters, okay? And some tissue or napkins. Great. The camera will keep on trying to focus back and forward, so bear with that, and I'll try to keep looking at the screen to make sure that it's on focus, okay? But let's start with drawing our face proportion. We'll use the entire sheet of paper. This is either 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12. 8.5 by 11 is the measure of any letter you get or paper that gets printed in a photocopier, the standard. When you get mail, oh, is 8.5 by 11. In the art world, that translates to 9 by 12, because then the measurements are 24 by 18, or that type of relation. And we're gonna keep it vertical, which is portrait, this way. You see, just bear with the camera as the light focus, but it will always come back. um so this is vertical, same thing as portrait. Opposite to that will be horizontal, this way, or landscape. So let's keep it like this because it will be a face. I'm gonna do a female face, lots of hair, and like I said, we're gonna build upon it. All right. So with your eye, um, I need you to split the paper um, in half. Let's see if more light is beneficial. Maybe, maybe not. Um, so without drawing in a pencil, right? We think of the paper split it right here in left and right. Okay. And you keep that. If you want to maybe draw a very light line, sure, but you should with your eye be able to kind of assess that is like, you know, where you want the half of the page, because it's half of the page. We're gonna have the face right in the middle, okay? Then we think halfway also like this. top and down. And in the middle of our face is really where our eyes are, but we're not going to put the face right in the middle of the paper. Yes, it will be in the middle in regards to left and right, but I'm going to bring the head down lower so I could do the hair later. So you got to think of those things, okay? So if this is the middle from top and bottom around here, right, I'm going to bring that a little lower, maybe here. And that's where I will do my um, eyes. And why don't we go straight and do the eyes? And I'll tell you that because, yes, we could refer to many other things, but I'm going to do the eyes. And there's an eye between both eyes. So as long as I do 3 ovals here, I get the measurement of working around that. So there's many ways you could tackle or work the face. We could obviously start by making the big oval where the face will be, if you want to do that. Um, let's give the camera a few seconds. Yeah. Um, so why don't we do the oval? Because that way I can make sure I can make my face fit where I want it. Okay. You see how I did an oval? So let's do an egg, and I'm going to keep on it. And if you notice, an egg has a wider tip than the other side. So that wider tip should go higher, should go, sorry, on the top, where the top of the head is, and the narrower at the bottom where the chin is. So this oval that I just did, that if you want, again, you could split in half. If it's not perfectly half of the paper, that's fine. But look at my line. I'm making my line darker, by the way, so you could see it. And then halfway also here. I'm making halfway off my oval, not of the paper. Remember, the paper, we agree that is more likely um, up here. Sorry. So for the paper, it's like around here, higher. Yep, it's about here. But of the face is here because I brought it down so we could do the hair. All right, so do an oval. If your oval is perfect, right, then make sure the top is wider. That's what I mean by wider than the bottom. You see how the bottom is narrower, is coming in, while here is wider. That's how an egg is. An egg takes the shape of a very strong um, geometric shape. Okay. So if you see something that's not aligning that great, like this should be maybe more over here towards the right. I'm gonna erase some of these lines because I'm making them very dark for you to see at home. But if you can do yours very lightly, that will be great. Okay, anyway. So we know our eyes is halfway, it's in the middle. So that shows you that there's a lot of more forehead and area for the hair. So this whole thing is the forehead. Our eyes will be here, nose, mouth, chin, right? All that kind of stuff. Great. We're moving on really good. I'm gonna bring it closer just for the sake of you being able to see it, okay? Um, so now I do those 3 eyes I told you about. There's gonna be an eye here, an eye here, and we know there's one in the middle right here. So there's 3 eyes, 1, 2, and 3. There's one eye between both eyes. So this one in the middle, and then you leave half and half. Okay, or even another eye almost, you know. Okay, so I could erase the one in the middle, but I want you to keep that proportion because that's what will make our eyes don't look weird. You know, if you make them too separated, it looks weird. If you put them too close, it's also strange. So the key proportion is that one eye fits between both. Okay. Our nose. Okay. Our nose will be here, like around here. And it's like an round. And then there's another wing and another wing coming up. So you see how I did that? I made it round, but then I did a wing and a wing. Okay. We could erase this middle line now if you want. I'm erasing because when we do the watercolor, if I don't erase before it, the line will stay there. You cannot erase after you put the paint. Okay, so we gotta get a drawing down. I'm gonna maybe have to draw this very dark so you can all see it at home. So I did this, I did a almost circle, and what I did is a wing coming up and another wing, which under here is where we breathe. And a little line denoting that that's where the nose come down. But we'll get to the eyes in a moment. Now the mouth. We're gonna put the line of the mouth, okay, before we do the lips. So I'm gonna make a line right about here and then turn it a little up like if he's smiling right there. I'm gonna make just like the eye, a smaller oval here. And that gives me the base of the lips. All I need from this oval is this bottom part. Because your lips really will be, they have that meat, in it. The top will also have two. So I should have done this earlier. So there's an oval here and there's two circles here. So 1 and 2. We're going to make these lips very pronounced. So this goes up, turns here, turns, and go down. So now we can erase the shapes we did, the circles and the oval. but they gave us the base to go around and create this shape. Does that make sense? And we could leave a little reference to that um, oval, especially the bottom lip, okay? Everybody's different. I'm going to pronounce the line of the mouth. It's very important to pronounce that. Um, and then here I choose how to finish the mouth, the corner of the mouth. I think that's good for now. The chin will also be a big oval. Look. And what that gives us is the bottom. We're going to use the bottom of this oval and the little top right here. The rest we don't need, so I'm erasing it. But we know that here in the chin is the shape of an oval. Okay. Now imagine that there's a circle here, kind of like when a clown paints his face. And imagine there's another circle just like it here, the same size on the cheeks. Has to be the same size. Now, what does that give us? It gives us a lot. It gives us the cheeks. So I could turn here, and then go down. So now in this shape of the face, as it goes down, I could go a little more in an angle here because I know the cheekbones were here. Does that make sense? And we could pronounce even a little bump here on the eye, a little bump. And we could pronounce here even at the nose, this wrinkle here. But I'm going to erase the circle. What it allows us and gave us is the shape of what I just pronounced, which was the cheek on the side and maybe a little bit of the wrinkle. But you may not want to pronounce these wrinkles here. But you see how this kind of curve here, this is very important. And now the line came down. Curve, line came down. And maybe about right here where the chin starts, if I threw a line, now I'm going to go in more. So I'm going to go in more. And again, we're all different. There's different type of shapes of heads. This one tends to be very round. We're gonna go a little more straight up here. But again, we all are different, and someone could have a head that's more longer, maybe even more round than somebody else. I don't know. Like there's all kinds of heads and things like that. Okay. The eye. Um, Let me look at something here for a moment. Hold on. This needs to be more straight. And I'm erasing any excess of pencil. I'll do the neck in a moment. This will be a woman. Men's neck tends to be wider. Okay. All right. So the neck will be kind of around here, in the middle of this, from here to here. And kind of curves. Goes down. And whatever you do on this side, you got to do on the other. Okay. Let's do the eyes. The base, even though remember it was an oval, it almost gonna come up straight. Okay. So even though it curves down, you're gonna try to in that curve, try to keep it straight. If that makes sense. So don't pronounce the curve too much. All right, so now we make the top. So the top will be a little more distinguished. So whatever I do on this side, I'm going to do on the other side opposite. So what I mean is there's going to have a straight line kind of come up and then a curve, but not too arc. Okay, don't do it arc meaning circular. Okay, try to keep it also. Yes, it will be more curved than the low. You see how the lower is almost straight? It's barely curved. The top will be more curved, but not entirely circular. So that's very important. It's more kind of narrow, stretch. So watch me do the first. So I said straight line and then curve. See that? So the opposite, the straight line will be here. Straight line and then the curve. You see how it's more, it's almost like, let me use this as an example if I can. I have a little cardboard here. So this is what I mean when I say curve. Um, if you see how I curve this, this is very curved. You see, you could have the same, sorry, right there. I could have the curve and open it and widen it. So that's what I mean, widen it. The eyeball is going to rest on the bottom. So it will touch the bottom, the edge of the eyeball. But the rest on the top of the circle of the eyeball will be covered by the top. Look. See that? You see how the bottom is touching like a wheel, touching the ground? But the top up here, if I continue, I'm not continuing because it's covered by the eyelid. But if I were to continue, it will go like this here. So I'm going to do the other one. Same thing. And try to keep it at the same size. If it's not symmetrical, like I can see right here at the bottom, then I try to fix it. Okay? Keep looking at your face, maybe in a mirror or I can see that this side still maybe too wide. Don't worry, because we're gonna have ears, right? We're gonna have other things. So eyebrows. So the eyebrow is like a oval here. Oval here. Give some space. And then it turns thin. So oval and then it turns. Try to keep them the same size and symmetrical. So if the line is going through here, okay? Now the ear, we don't have to show the entire ear, but we know that the ear starts with the nose. So if I drew a line right here where the nose ends, about here and about here is where the ear, right? And it ends up here at the eyes, right here. That's proportionate. So I could do the ear from the side, kind of like this, but the key is the ear lobe right here at the bottom. Okay. All right, hair and all this. How we gonna do the hair, and all that stuff? I want to pronounce to. I want to pronounce her eyes more. So I'm gonna erase. Let's erase her eyebrows and bring them higher because I wanna. I wanna pronounce. I wanna bring them higher. Same thing. Same thing, just higher. Okay. But I want to pronounce a curve here, right here, like this, and another curve here. That's kind of like the eye. You see the eyelid. And we could fix the eyebrow later. Because what could happen in the eyebrow is that with the paint, we could do this chunk here that I did and then curve this later, narrower. Yeah, this could be narrower. But anyway. All right. So the hair could be big hair, maybe coming from down here. I feel like making another video of this, but simpler. But this one is not simple because we have a long video to develop this head. See all the hair? And what we could do is bring forward here, from here, down, get it in, and get it in on zigzags. So watch. So from here, we know the forehead should end here, but we're going to bring it down here like if she has a headband that goes here, and then this goes straight down, and this goes here, and it goes straight down here. And this is narrower, but it's like a headband that's holding the hair. So now I can erase. Now we can erase the what we did in the oval. Remember? You see the limit of the hair too? Okay. Maybe more round. You can always pause this the video or go back. But I think we're good with having like a basic. I kind of like this eye goes more angle here. So we could replicate that here with this one. A more sharp. And don't worry because with the paint, I'm gonna darken this far away corners of the eye, just like in makeup, an eyeliner does. And we actually, makeup or no makeup, let's say there's no makeup, your eyes will also darken at the edge here. I have talked about this because of the angle we're looking at our eyelids. Sorry, our eyelashes. All our eyelashes, right? If there's eyelashes here, I'm not doing them, but if I were to do them, in real life, they tend to accumulate visually towards this edge because they're being looked in an angle. The eye receives towards those ends, and that's why this area here gets darker. And when women put makeup, they emphasize this also. Okay, some of them even draw this line here to emphasize that um, N. Okay, so we'll do that with the paint. But in reality, makeup or no makeup, we do have that. We all do. Effect. Sorry, it's an effect by the angle we look at. So now that the headband is here, the headband can be covering the ear. You see, part of the ear. We wanted a reason or an excuse to cover the upper ear. So here it is. You could put earrings if you want, like big bangs or pearls, what you want. But I think this is good. Okay. And we're going to build on it, like I have said. We're going to put the paint, and then we're going to go and build upon it. All right. Maybe add some flowers. I don't know. I'm trying to see if no, a necklace or a shirt, but no. Some flowers maybe in the hair. Okay, so this is the time where we pause for a minute or two and kind of erase any excess of lines of pencils we don't need. Because if you don't erase them now, whatever you leave, it will have to stay. And I'm going to leave what you guys all can see at home because I want you to see the face as I'm painting it. But if I were by myself and I can still see the face, right? It's just me. I will erase a lot of more lines because I'm comfortable knowing where certain things are that I don't need the pencil. Does that make sense? So if you feel confident, you will remember where certain things are. You don't need to have them in pencil, is my point. Because in watercolor, once you leave the lines of the pencil, they have to stay. Okay. The flowers we need to decide because if we start painting the hair and paint all the hair, then we cannot put the flowers. Okay, so I have to decide very soon if I want to leave the flowers or not. I'm going to take a couple of minutes as you catch up or you're looking at this is to break down again the face. So what we did is we split the paper in half, left to right. Right. So anything we do to one side, we make sure it was on the other also. We split the paper also top and down, but I said that I'm going to bring that line even lower. So the middle of the paper may be around here, but I brought it down to put my eyes. So the eyes are in the middle of the head. So in this whole part, the eyes are right in the middle. So basically what I did is the face, it is in the middle of the paper from left to right, but it's not in the middle of the paper from top to bottom. If you notice, it's a little more lower than up. So instead of putting the face here, let me show you the entire side of the paper. Instead of putting the face maybe here, I brought it down here, a little lower. That's to be able and thinking of the hair, all the room the hair needs. You gotta think of those things. Otherwise, we will have done the hair and come out of the paper. Now we can do the hair and look, stop before we reach the edge. So little things like that. I will do the flowers. So let's see. We'll leave maybe a spot here like that, a spot here like that, a third one, a little one here, and a big one, third one here, and maybe some leaves. But I know now they're here. Okay. I know you could barely see them, but there's some lines in there. For me, that represents where the flowers will be. Oh yeah, and then I tackle first the oval the head represents, and if you look at an egg, this is a perfect oval, right? But an egg is not like that. An egg has one side. You see this side wider than the. This is wider down here and narrower up here. So we did the face as an egg, in which the wider part is at the top, with the forehead and all the, right, and the narrow part is the chin. You see, we did an oval, but the top is wider and the bottom is narrower. Then we did in that line that we knew our eyes will be. We did 3 ovals. These have to be perfect ovals. 1, 2, 3, because between our eyes, each one represents an eye. Between our eyes and the size of another eye fits perfectly. So that's why I did that. So my eyes look proportionate. And that's why so far she looks, right, like she's proportionate. Okay. Great. So we did our eyes, then we did our nose, which was a circle with enough distance, right, about here, a circle on the tip of the nose, but it's not an infinite circle, so we only did the size, and then we did a one wing and one wing to the other side with a curve at the bottom, like a curve here and a curve here. That's where we breathe in. Then we did our mouth, and I made the smile. I left enough space, look, and I curve it like if he was smiling. I did the bottom lip as a big oval right in the middle, and the upper lip as 2 circles in between that on the top. You will learn when we paint the face in a moment that the upper lip tends to always be darker than the lower lip. Not in color, it's just shadow. Just the way light hits our face, our upper lip would always tend to have more of a shadow. Um, so many cartoons or illustrations or things like that, they emphasize the upper lip and don't do much of the bottom, right? Um, and yeah, and then I did 2 circles for the cheeks, um, to emphasize the cheekbones, and that allow us to do then the jaw right here that I told you to kind of stop and curve right where the chin was. And the chin, we did it as a big oval also. And it was an oval in which we emphasized the bottom of it right here, or one of the side, and a little bit of the top, this curve here. And again, we all have different faces. In this face, I emphasize this part of the chin. Many of us have that, some others we don't. Some people have a thick upper lip, or some people have a thinner. This is just one face out of millions, billions, right? Um, we're getting ready to start painting, but I just wanted to break down what happened, what we did. The forehead and all the head kind of went through the middle of this hairband, but we created this headband, and then we erased that line. That was our first oval, and we made the headband zigzagging. So I went up, angle, line, line, and I did that. And you can make this actually thicker. You can make the headband even thicker. Um, but this headband is separating her forehead or skin to the hair, and the hair was just curves, like cloudy shape, um, curves that go around high enough to create a massive hair. And then the neck, I said women's neck tends to be narrower than men. So if this was a man, I will make them wider, the neck. But I think over here will be fine. And another thing is this curve. So in women, This tends to be more curved, right? That right here with the neck. Um, and in a man, it's a little more straight, which means there's more muscle here on the shoulders. Um, so a feminine neck tends to be more coming down, is what I mean. It curves, but it goes down. A man curves, but it goes more horizontal. Okay. Yeah, let's get to paint. So we're gonna, like I said, build upon it. And I say that because we gotta go from lighter to darker. I happen to have the color brown. I want to make her skin brown, so we're gonna go very light. And another thing is, if you don't have brown, you can make a lot of it, because we're gonna use it, right? With mixing all the primary colors. What are the primary colors? Um, Red, yellow, and blue. So if you make orange and then you add um, blue, you should be getting brown. Or if you make green and you add red, um, you could start getting brown. I'm gonna do that for you just to show you on a piece of paper. Um, but I will use my brown that I have here too. Okay, so this is just to show you. And in the meantime, you can look at the face. Oops. But over here, I'll be mixing the colors just to show you. The face looks, now that I see, a little maybe disproportionate, the eyes, but we'll fix that in mine. We'll fix that. Don't worry about it. Okay. Um, all right. So I said what color? If I get, if I make orange, let's make it. If I get yellow, and I add red, right? That's what I said to make orange. That's a very reddish orange. So let me add more yellow. Okay. So if I take orange and I add blue, I should get brown. That's what I said, right? So let me look. I'm getting blue. And look at our brown. That was a lot of blue. So that means that I need more red. I can tell. Because it became a little greenish. So that. So if it's too dark like this, it may be because of blue. So you have to kind of measure. But you see how that's brown? The color I just made, if you don't have it, it is brown. Try to make a lot at once so you don't have to keep making it. But now let's make, I'll keep that brown there in case I need that tone. But let's make, it's the same mixture. It's all the three colors. So now if I make green first, well, I'm taking from green, but sorry. If I make green with, which is yellow and blue, let me not use too much. You see how this is green? You can see it at the edge of the video. I'm over in this area. So this is green, right? It's a very dark green. So now I add red. And look how I can see it's already brown. It's a different tone of brown, maybe more reddish, because you can tell the amount of a certain color it has. So it needs more yellow. You see that? Because I saw how much red it had. See how now it's more brown? This was more reddish. Okay, so again, I made brown. It's the same combination of the three colors. It's just the order of the colors that I decided to, sorry. There you go. It is brown. Okay. So now you know brown is just mixing um, red, yellow, and blue. So red and yellow makes orange, blue and yellow makes green, red and blue makes purple, and all three of them makes brown. And with that, you have it all. You know, that's why they're called primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. You can make literally any other color with those three. In regards to pigmentation, okay? I'm not talking to physics, like the way light carries color. I'm talking about the pigments, the world of colors in which we live in. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brown. Let's see how this, but I want to make sure that it's not, that it's very light, because remember how I said we're building our pigments. Let's see. So we're spreading it. Right when I set it down, you see, I quickly start to spread that color, because I spread it because I don't want it to get too dark in any area. This is the ear. And you'll notice, if you have enough pencil in it, that the pencil may mix with the paint, and the pencil will become kind of like a pigment, you know. It will darken that area, you know. Um, so pencil can actually, um, if you have too much pencil lines and you put a lot of water in that spot, the pencil also will dissolve in in the in the painting, in the water. But I'm mixing it right away so I don't leave any trace of brush strokes when the paint dries. Any emphasis of layering, I try to get rid of it, moving my brush over it. Okay, to kind of smooth the painting. Okay, does that make sense? So any area that I see the paint is getting darker because it's layering, I went over it quickly again with my brush. I think this so far is very good for the base. Let's do the neck too, and end it very softly. What I mean by that is making it die out um, um, down here. So the way you do that to end this is you clean your brush, and then you just get water, clean water, and then you use the water to soften this here. Look, you see? So now the paint never finished too drastically that edge right there. It's a little more softening. Right. And our face is a little color, you know? And now we kind of add more pigment and put more pigment in areas we want. It's kind of like um, darkening or shadowing. So here in the neck, I'm emphasizing a little darker tone. Does that make sense? So you got to control how much pigment you have on your brush. You see, and this area is getting darker because I choose to. I choose to make it a little darker. See that? I carry this also here, and I'm going to make my ears a little tiny darker. So my ears are going to be a little darker than the tone on the face because they're more behind and they're more in the they're more in a shadow. I'm gonna make another video of painting a face like this, but more simplified and shorter. Okay, so you could do that one too, if you choose to. Okay, so now I know that yes, my pigment here is watered down, but a little more. There's a little more pigment than before we did the face. So eyes, above the eyes right here, tend to be a little more sink in. So that's why this area is becoming a little darker. Clean my brush and then pass my brush here to make this area a tiny bit more darker than the rest of the skin. Does that make sense? And I could come down here as the nose comes down. You see? But make sure it's not too strong and you soften that. You know? You soften that blending. You know, something you want to emphasize in darkness or is this bridge here of the eyes. So this right here can actually have a little darkness because um, our bridge here does get a little darker, you see. And like I said, on top of the eyes, make sure it's still darker than the rest of the face. Okay. So let's continue shading. It's almost like putting a little kind of like makeup. Same thing with the cheeks. So down here. Okay. Same thing with this right here. Watch. In the chin, the top. It's a little bit of water. So you always water it down. Okay. Okay, same thing with the sides of the forehead. The sides are darker than the front. All of this, as pronounced as it looks, it will be diminished by the water. You see, a little more toned down. Okay. See how the face starting to become a little more alive. So under the nose also tends to be a little darker. I'm not giving her a mustache. I'm just making this area a tiny bit darker. Now I take my water, clean my brush, and in this wetness, I blend all of this in. And that just shows that the skin is darker. It's not about a mustache. Same thing with the nose. We could define it a little more, making these lines that were done in pencil with brown, with just color. Especially this. That is where we breathe. This line here gets pronounced. So I'm using my brush to kind of draw. So taking my brush in the brown, okay, and then I'm drawing. So now it's very important that I redraw the lines, look, with pigment. You know, we can outline the face with the brown on our brush. I was just outlining the drawing we already did. See, I have brown on my brush, and I'm using it to basically draw an outline. I could do this little line here. Okay. Ready for the eyes? Same thing. Ready? Let's paint the eyes lighter. Actually, no, not the eyeball yet, but just the outline. So with the brown, no lighter. Just do the line, just like we did with the pencil. Gotta be careful, and the bottom was kind of straight. See? Same thing over here. I have enough pigment. Bottom was kind of straight, not that curved. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is what I was talking about. This end is going to be thicker or darker, see, than the one here. This is gonna be thicker and darker. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna clean my brush and use one of the browns that I mixed and keep it very light, which I get to do that with water to fill in the inside of the eyeball. Okay, I'm not worried about the rest. I actually could use that same color to do the lips. So I'm gonna use that same color to do the lips, to fill them in. And remember what I said about the upper lip being darker? Wait a moment, because I'm darkening both the lips, but I'm going to make the top one darker, just like I promised you. Let's see if it works. upper lip has to be darker. And now I'm going to make the outline right in the middle of the mouth where it opens darker. It should even maybe be even darker. Darker. So for that, actually no, let's darken the eyebrows. Remember? The eyebrows I said was a big chunk here. And then we kind of like make a line like that. One eyebrow is higher than the other. That could be a gesture, but let's make this one higher, just like the other one. And bigger. The other one tends to be bigger. Okay. Okay. Outline our ears. There you go. You see that? This little nose thing that is being dry, I could make it disappear with a little bit of water. There you go. Same thing with this line here. Okay. You keep pushing it until it's gone. All right, so does that, let's see if we focus. We can make the skin even darker if we want, but just want the camera to focus for a second. There you go. You see how I went over where the pencil was on mostly everything? But now we need the black. Actually, yeah, let's use the black to finish most of the face. Most of what we have of the face. But in the black, we don't have to use pure black to do the things we're doing, you know? So yes, we're using pure black. Well, what I meant to say is with the water, meaning if we water it down, it becomes gray. But if you may feel you have kind of a lot of black, pure, that's fine. Let's put it right in the middle of our eyes. Let's make a circle right in the middle of our eye of that size on both of them. See? Now let's do another thing. Let's outline that circle, meaning here and here. See? Meaning here and here. Now I'm going to carefully paint black up here and leave a little gap right there. See that? You see what I did? You can still see the circle of the middle, the little curve down there, but I left a little gap up there. So let me do that again on this side, just so you see. There's a circle in the middle, right? So when I paint, I'm going to paint on the top. But I'm going to make sure I leave a gap up here of like a little bubble right there. And our face took like a little more life form. I'm going to use this same black to emphasize a couple of things, okay? One of the things we're going to emphasize is just a little bit of the holes of the nose down here. 1 and 2. These are really dark areas. See that? Even with the brown that's already there, that black darkens it. The other thing we're going to darken is the line that makes the mouth. And one thing I'm going to add to this mouth is a little curve, like a, and that curve is right here at the end, going down a little, like here and here. We could probably emphasize a little bit of the upper lip. I'm going to clean the brush. I need tissue, but I'm going to clean my brush and then I'm going to make that upper lip brown, but even darker. It's still brown, but a darker. It deserves to be even darker. Now that all that black is there, delineating the denotating the line of the middle of the mouth. Okay. I could probably emphasize this line here. Sorry, coming down right here. As it's still, that area may still be wet. So I could probably mix the brown with the black just carefully right there coming down. Same thing here coming down. Careful with the black. My brush is not being helpful. There you go. My brush is opening up, so something you may notice is you want your brush to be thin when you want it to be thin, and do other things when you want it to do other things. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Um, maybe the lower lip can be a little darker since the upper lip, since we darkened the upper lip already. So since the upper lip has been darkened, then the lower lip can be darkened too. Okay, so that's our face so far. I know it looks very realistic. Um, Something I could emphasize is still making this part of the nose a little more darker in the skin. This is what I mean right here as it comes in. You see, we could darken this, and now I'm gonna blend it in with water, with a little more water, to really sunk those that area. Basically, that's all we're doing, sunking it in. Same thing maybe out here. because that's what happens out here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the hairband kind of reddish and orange, and then we're going to do the hair in gray tones and black. It's black, but I don't want to do the whole thing just plain black. We're gonna do layers of different tones of gray. Okay. So maybe we could also, I'm just shading the face, and if you see the areas, you could go back or pause. But look at what the areas I'm shading. I'm shading kind of around the eyes right here. Um, Giving the eyes like a little resting, a more realistic, because I'm blending in the rest. Clean my brush, blending this area here. The thing is, if you blend too much and you don't bring pigment, you're actually taking color away. So you're making that area actually lighter. So you got to be careful. Are you blending in, taking color out, or are you blending in, adding more brown? You know? Okay. Maybe the neck can also get a little more darker. Now clean my brush and use just water to kind of blend all of this in. Remember, the paper starts absorb the water right away, so you know. Okay, so now the hair, look how the hair is going to be a bunch of gray. At first, just gray. But then we're gonna do patches of more darker areas of that gray until there's areas that are completely black. But what makes it great is the water. And it's okay if some patches are darker, as long as we keep the shape kind of nice. I'm going to leave the gaps of the flowers, remember. So I'm going to paint around the flowers, around where the flowers we agree that we're going to be. And if you notice, I'm adding a lot of water because I want to first do gray. Gray, not black. Not just black, but gray. Okay. Did you see how I make sure that it's wet enough my brush when I go right at the outline at the edge of my of the hair? Because I want that very well defined right there. See, it's not matter if some areas are darker than others. And at this point, your paper should be bending in some areas. That just means some areas are wet than others. That's all. And now it's okay if some areas are darker because we will create those patches. which is actually purposely darker spots. Okay. Ready? Let's make those spots. So here's one. Maybe another one is here. Another one is up here. Basically, what you're not trying to do is make the entire hair all one same tone of black. Okay. Okay. Maybe here under this flower. Maybe here above this. Maybe here. Okay. See what I mean about keeping like a little grayish tone on the hair, so that way we have different um, tones. It's just making the whole thing more interesting. And you should know what your brush is carrying. If you feel your brush is not doing what you want, go get the pigment or more pigment, and get that done. Get the effect you want, the amount of pigment that you want in that area. Maybe you want it more darker and it's not giving it to you, so why? Like maybe I want here more darkness. It's really wet. So that's why I'm pushing all that water out here. Yeah, I think that makes it interesting. Okay, let's clean our brush. I'm gonna do the the bandana. I said reddish, right? So if that's too much red, then I add more water. But it wasn't. I gotta be careful here touching the black because it's gonna darken my red. I actually wanted more red because I want to really distinguish between the skin and the bandana. And we could outline, more reddish to the outline of it to define it more. So it's not, there's certain things that you may want to define to emphasize in the picture. And this could be one of them. So now I'm going to grab more pure red to just emphasize these lines that outline it. That's all. Maybe folds in the fabric of it. I see. This is more reddish because I'm grabbing actually pure pigment. We could always come back in an area that is too wet to emphasize what we want. Like right here is very wet. So I know that no matter how much red I put in, it's going to blend in with the water and not give me that bright red that I want. So anyway, I'll leave that for now. Um, I'm going to go back to the skin color because there's something I need to kind of emphasize around here. Darker. There you go. Maybe here too. The ear too. Okay, let's blend that in. It's very dark. We need water. So this is what I mean, that you have to be careful and understand that yes, you have a brush with water, but are you blending that color or are you just scraping it and taking it away? Because if you're taking it away, then you're gonna make that area very bright. Okay, because you'll be just like your brush is like a sponge that just have water and it will be picking up the color. I want to also darken up here right at the forehead, like if there's a, you know, there you go. If that makes sense. It's very wet. You see, that's why I keep adding more pigment, because every time I put some, it goes away. But I think this will be good enough. That's good. Okay. Let's do our flowers. Why don't we make one? I'm cleaning my brush to put a big chunk of yellow right here in this big one. Maybe this one is orange. I want the orange a little more lighter, so that's why I just added a bunch of water to make it lighter, and then later emphasize. You see how I'm careful touching the black, because then my color will get messy. I'll put a little bit of that orange down here too, like if it's expansive. And it's kind of okay if some of the white of the paper shows. And a blue one, why not? So it's okay if the white of the paper shows in between, because that could be perceived as highlights, you know. Okay, so now with red is orange, I will outline some of the lines of the flower. Basically what we're doing is just emphasizing kind of like a center to the flower, which will be right here. That's all we're doing. Give it a little more, and maybe even make it reddish as it goes to the center. And darker, so I'll add more darkness in there. Same thing with the blue. So now I clean my brush, get my blue, more pure, and then outline maybe towards here, towards this spot down here, where the center will be. And then later add purple right here at the middle to make it even darker. The yellow could be just a little bit of orangey, that's yellow, you know, because yellow, more yellow would just keep it yellow. But that could be right here. And I'm gonna go with this light orange in the yellow wherever the pencil it was, just to cover that pencil. You see, I'm going over the lines of the pencil. And the center is here. So with the center for the yellow could be red. The center of the blue could be purple, because we're looking for a darker color right here. And the center of the orange could still be also purple, maybe. Let's see if it works. Because we need something really dark. And that same purple, let's use it to outline some of our hairband. Right there, right here. You see the darkness of this area here, the darkness of this spot. Whenever you feel it's into the darkness, put that purple in there. We're wrapping this up. I think maybe if you feel like you could put some of that purple in some parts of the hair, like, giving it curve and shape, just to distinguish from the black. That's up to you. But it's optional. I don't want to emphasize that too much because it just has a different tone I wasn't planning for, but um, you're getting what I'm trying, what I mean. See, I'm giving it a little more volume with the purple. That's all. Maybe here, more outline. And we could darken the skin a little even more with tones, but again, this looks brighter than what it really is. If you were to see this painting in, a picture and a video, never give credit to watercolor. So this right here, as I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the camera, at the screen in the video, this right here in my hands is much more darker, um, and in tones too. I don't know if that could be perceived in the picture, but let me put a little bit of the orange in the yellow flower. I can see that this could have been right here more strategic. Yeah, that's it. We could sign it. I'm gonna sign it. I'm gonna obviously show you the results closer. Um, and wrap it up. So again, we started with the head and face, but we were very careful when we were building the head. I can see that the mouth here can actually come up a little more. Let's try to fix that. If I can. So this right here can come up even more. I think so. So I'll make eventually less longer video. Sorry, shorter, much shorter of just a quick head. Maybe more watercolorly, transparent, because this hair is very opaque. But we can make it transparent, kind of watercolor, and we can make the watercolor also be that you can see layers more. So meaning what happens here on the side, you see that a darker layer of brown over a lighter one. We could emphasize that. We don't have to always try to blend it in like we were trying to do. Um, but we could also do it like we did. Either it's a choice. See, I gotta be careful because then the area becomes lighter instead of what I want, which is to darken it. Okay. There's no, I did not leave space for earrings, but you could do that if you wish, if you feel like it. I'm gonna go from the bottom with the neck. You see that blending in from darker under the neck to becoming lighter as it comes down. That's because when we reach this point right here, the contrast was very pronounced, but we clean up our brush completely clean. We grab water and then we spread it right at the edge there, and everything blend in and kind of disappear. That's how we make that effect. And the mouth, obviously with the black, emphasizing the smile and the right the middle, the actual opening of the mouth. That's very dark. The nose, those two holes of the nose, the breathing nose holes are dark. The eyes look very realistic because of that little, um, this little spot we left untouched. If you left it, gives the sense of a highlight, which is a light source. The pupil is black, which was that circle in the middle, very black. The eyes are brown, but we outline them in dark. That's very important. And we shaped the eyes pretty well. If you follow my instructions, they were curved on the top. The bottom was almost straight, not entirely, but almost. And then the eyeball actually literally rested with the in the bottom, and the top was hidden by the eyelid. Then we did the eyebrows, which actually, if you wish, we could make them darker, a tiny darker, if you wish. I'm just saying, if you desire, we could actually make them darker. That's very dark. Maybe not that dark, but you know what I mean. So I'm gonna try to pick some of that up. Um, yeah, and then we did the eyes. Then we move up to the headband. We made folds with purple. There's red and pink because the red was first light up with just water. And then the hair was a bunch of gray in which we left some areas darker than others. See that? Looks gray. And then you see the purple that we added at the end. The flowers were just colors, orange, blue, and yellow, that we basically decided to find a spot right here, a spot right here, and a spot right here that were supposed to represent the center of the flower. And we kind of like went around it in curves and added another color that was darker in tone to emphasize that that's the center of the flower. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Come on, focus. I know this camera sometimes gives me trouble focusing, but yeah, beautiful, right? Make sure the key thing here is to keep proportions. You know, we all have different faces, but they're proportionate to the parts that are in them. And like I said, if I were taking a picture of this, just imagine this much more darker, double darker, or three times. I'm looking at it right now. The camera doesn't give it justice. Um, I hope you enjoy. Go back, pause, or go back to do again something you wanna do again, or figure out how I did it. Um, Maybe you want to do it completely again from scratch, and this time, the second time, certain things you'll be more familiar with. So and that will make it work. I'm not liking the emphasis of too much orange right here. Perfect. So I'll see you soon, and stay safe. Keep painting, redoing, doing, and more doing. Practice makes not just perfection, but makes you be more comfortable with your medium. So see you all very soon. Thank you.